Hey guys, it's Jen. Doing another video tonight. I just felt called to talk about another subject. I was listening to another channel by a girl named Angel Martin, who was a personal acquaintance of Isaac Kappy. And for those of you who know, it was a suicide, they're saying, off of a bridge and a whole bunch of things. Apparently, he leaked some information or sold out on some level uh, and received, I guess, some kind of payment for it. Now, I watched his last post, and what I noticed about him was two things. Number one, his accountability. He specifically admitted what he did. He apologized in what I felt a very heartfelt manner. And he referred to himself even as being similar to Judas, the disciple of Jesus who betrayed him for 30 pieces of silver. Now, some people are real quick to judge people that sell out for whatever reason. And this is a very material world. And sometimes people just feel like they have no other option, that they need to survive or provide or whatever they do, and I guess, quote unquote, sell their soul. But I know I've done that once or twice or more throughout my life. I was a pretty shitty person there for a while. I never blamed God or lost my faith or anything like that. I more or less would ask, why? God, why is this happening? If you created everything, why can't you just snap your fingers and stop it all? Make the darkness, the evil, go away as easily as it entered. Make it vaporize, vanish, disappear. And then I realized, without an equal balance of light and dark, how would you ever learn a lesson if all you ever knew was goodness? How would you ever learn, if you were confronted with a negative situation, how to overcome it or conquer it? And life is an evolutionary process of growth and creation and learning. And even Einstein said, once you stop learning, you start dying. And that's very true. You can look at any elderly nursing home, convalescent home, anything like that. And these poor people are just laying like comatose in depressing rooms and receiving horrible care, if you even want to call it care. And I mean, what a sad way to go. What a lonely way to go. You know what I mean? So, for me, when it started as a child, and having my childhood taken away from me, and then suffering through a coerced abortion when I was 16, and dealing with that suffering and not ever having an outlet to express the pain, and always feeling like a failure as per society standards. And so I did a lot of trying to fit in for a very long time and selling out in many ways to be accepted or be liked, and I can relate to, let's say, doubting Thomas, the disciple who doubted and lost faith many times along the way, along the journey. And I've done that how many times? God, where are you? Why is this happening? I'm not a bad person. I never asked for this. And then when I had my death experience, well, the last one anyways, some things were clarified for me. And I had an experience and I was shown certain things and given a choice as to what I wanted to do with that experience. And I could have taken that moment and tapped out, so to speak, and said, I've had enough. It's just too painful and I'm out, But I didn't. I made a pact, a vow, a declaration, contract, if you will, that some things were going to change, and it started with me and my outlook and my perception, and then negative things in my life, I had to drop it like a bad habit. So that's what I did. And, but all through my life, even when I was a really dark, ugly type of person, just so depressed, so hollow, so broken, so lonely, so rejected, so destroyed on every level, I did everything I could to induce death, to escape. And that was a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, a lot of, sex, and just meaningless hookups and things like that. And it's just a real ugly kind of life. And then wanting to just I was just so desperate to fit in all the time. I just wanted to find somewhere I belonged, some group, because I'm friends with everybody. I don't judge. Even when it comes to dark and light subjects, each being has their own path and their own traditions, their own rituals, their own rites, their own whatever. And I just try to live a path of what is good, what's the right thing to do, that's not for self, that is for others. And I think, in my opinion, if you are following a selfless path where you are in full sacrifice and service to others in whatever way for the greatest good of all, you're working in divine order. And as my mom would always say, things always have a way of working out one way or another, even if it's not the way you planned it or expected it. So having faced death numerous times and survived, and all the different traumas that I've experienced since a very young age, to make it 42 years is quite an accomplishment in this world, especially in my generation, and full of angst and being aware from a very early age. And what I realized is that accountability goes a long way. When you have messed up, I curse a lot, sorry. You could blame my dad, sailor, I do. Anyways, but when you can be accountable for something you've done wrong, or you've hurt someone, or lied, or whatever you've done, accountability goes a long way. Standing up and apologizing and saying, yeah, I effed up, I did it, my bad, I am sorry, and you really mean it, and then you act and do something to try to better that, you could squash it. And that's basically karma, is you do something wrong, you got to do something right, it's like that. And so I'm on a specific mission for me, and I'm an activist, I'm an archaeologist, a philosopher, I'm studying medicine and nuclear physics and things like that, but I read and translate prophecy as well, and I just want to help people. So I made a commitment that I would help guide. And the reason I did that is because a lot of things, as you can see with the tornadoes and earthquakes and cataclysms and blah, 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 what are people going to do without anyone to help guide them after the fact? Some people are resilient and or resistant to certain viral strains, biogenetically engineered viruses, things like that. And some people have a capacity, not claiming to be superhuman or anything like that, just for some reason your DNA is different and you can come in contact with a lifetime of like severe illnesses that normally kill people, and you're still kicking. And on top of that, you have ingested how many toxic chemicals on top of just what you're naturally exposed to? Whatever. Is what it is. And so what I'm doing partly, well, with the radio show is was offered to do a live Q&A where people can call in and ask specific questions, whether it's in reference to geopolitical events, planetary events, life situations and how to overcome things, or family things with your couples, children, anything, tips, budgeting, how to apply prophecy principles to your everyday life, and how to walk the path of Christ, which is just those characteristics I always talk about, telling the truth, doing good things, being kind, generous, helpful, caring, feed the hungry, clothe the naked, give to the poor, heal the sick. So I've always been that kind of person, and I always blamed myself. I always took all the guilt and the shame, and I thought I was some evil, horrible person because everyone made me feel that I was. But no one knew where I came from, and still don't, because I haven't voiced it yet. And I will one day. But I just wanted to applaud Isaac Kappy and saying that I know what he's trying to express is something big, that he even said he pretty much screwed over everybody in the country or on the planet or whatever because he sold out. But he stood up and he said sorry, and then when people in the live chat were asking him, well, what can we do for you? Do you need legal help, and do you need representation? He turned it down himself, and he said, I'm not being forced into this. He said, I'm speaking my own mind. And he said, you know what you could do? He said, pray for my soul. So if that's what somebody's asking for, in my opinion, they're sorry for what they did. And so I did pray for him, And in my opinion, I don't think he's dead. I think it was a setup. And I think he's on lockdown somewhere, so he doesn't do any more of that by the powers that be. Oh, and the reason my video is this way, because it's all about perception. I like to mess with people and get them to think and do weird things and change the color schemes and all that, but I'm still going to speak the truth even if I'm upside down. Ooh. So, alright guys, that's about it for me for tonight. Oh, I look like one of the Coneheads from the 80s movies. And then I was watching Corey Taylor of Slipknot, and he did a tribute to Chester Bennington, and I thought that was really cool. It's like Memorial Day, everybody's thinking war and military, but people aren't remembering, like, Jesus Christ himself, who sacrificed his entire life and they hung him on a cross, right? Or, Chester, or Chris Cornell, or Scott Weiland, or any of the people from my generation, Dolores from the Cranberries. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. All these people that I spent my life, like my tribe, and I'm just so sick of it, so over it. So people like me and other advocates for the sick and suffering who are just trying to be good people and help others and whatever, and whatever. I'm not ever going to stop until my dying breath, and even at that point, death doesn't scare me because I even tried to bring it on myself. So how can someone else's threat even intimidate me or scare me. It doesn't. So with that being said, I just want everyone to know that I always hold you guys in my heart, in my intent, as well as the entire galaxy. Just a lot going on. And I pray for peace. And I do believe that as a collective, as a whole unit, each singular person has the power to affect that collective. And when you do that, just by keeping peace in your intent and doing good things and being a good person, you are affecting the whole collective. But there's other things that people do that they don't even realize they do, and it's like, bro. For instance, if somebody sneezes and you always say, bless you, bless you, bless you. Let's say you have some freaking, I don't know, pedophile or something, right? And some child raping murderer or whatever, and they sneeze and you just not thinking say, bless you. You're invoking blessings on someone who's not deserving of blessings. So you have to be mindful of the words that we speak here. And so I don't know what else to talk about, guys. I guess I'm pretty stressed with everything going on in Iran and tornadoes everywhere and people that are giving out misinformation, wrong information on the internet about spirits and all these dark energies, and now they're talking about the Watchers. Well, you don't know who the Watchers are, let me tell you that. So, but we're about to find out. And I just want to say, unity, right? United we stand, divided we fall. Land of the free, home of the brave. Where's the other brave souls? I see a lot of people doing a lot of that and not a lot of that, So if you're only talking about things and not advocating or not being an example yourself or not speaking to your local governments or agencies or clergy or community or schools or whatever, you're just knowing and seeing and hearing, but you're staying silent, and then you're doing a disservice to everyone. And I'm not trying to be judgmental or anything like that. I always say I speak the truth, and a lot of times people don't like it because it's that mirror being held up saying, yo. But truth is truth, and it's going to come out anyways, and it's already been written. So I'm into the book of Romans tonight, but I did read Acts 28 verse 26, which says, go to this people and say, you will indeed hear but never understand, and you will indeed see but never perceive. And that's true for a lot, many, too many. It's like I want to sometimes scream, wake up, but what can you do? Each person has their own journey, and they will do it in their time, and that's the way it is. And it took me a long time too to realize things, but when you do, you do. And I'm not that I told you so type of person. It's just not me. I just, I see what's coming, and I know a lot of you do too. And there's just going to be some kind of scary events, I guess, but only if you let them instill fear within you. So when these things start to go down and people start freaking out, oh my God, what are we going to do? We don't have anything, they didn't believe the preppers, or they didn't believe the conspiracy theorists. You're going to need people to guide and lead. And that was, I guess, my mission. And, then sometimes since then, I'm like, damn, man, why I do that? I could have gone on to where I'm from, and back to normal, but that wouldn't be fair because I have children here. And not only that, but all the innocents, whether animal, child, elderly, sick, suffering, poor, broken, slave, whatever, I'm on your side, okay? So in my heart, I could not live with myself if I was just like, everyone has a right. If you want to exit the game at any time, you have that divine right. Not to say there's not going to be some cost or something, debt-wise, or not fulfilling your purpose or whatever, and maybe having to come back and repeat a lesson or what have you, but it's an option. And I was like, okay, so obviously I made my intent to God, and I said, whatever you want me to do, I don't care. At the sacrifice of myself, I'll be that voice. I will do whatever I need to do to shake things up a little bit and see what we can do collectively to guide others and be the light, and light the way, and be a way shower. So that's what I'm trying to do. I love you guys. I hope I didn't ramble too much. It's just I have so much on my brain, and I really just, sometimes when I'm studying and like this is my workspace here, and I'm like, okay, I need to take a break and like commune with some real peeps in the world. And I obviously don't have anyone in 3D. Y'all know this, but working on that. I get out in the community as well as do this. And with the radio now, that's just another platform. And I don't just go to my neighbors and the, community people that I know. I go to government agencies and other things like that. So I'm all over the place. And so yeah, I just wanted to touch on that with all the Isaac Kappy talk and Illuminati and he sold his soul, and take a look in the mirror sometimes. We all sell out one way or another here or there until we finally wake up and say, oh, okay, now I get it. But if you don't have any dark and you're always light and positive, and you're out of balance. Even though it's in the light realm, you're still out of balance. So in my opinion, you need an equal balance of dark and light to counteract each other, so to speak. And without that mirror being shown to you all the time, how are you ever going to evolve? So food for thought. I love you guys. Be kind to each other. Gen X and peace.